Hello, and thank you for joining me here again on Tom's Family Worship. I'm going to read a book to you today, and the reason I picked this book is because I love the way it tells the story of the Bible. And when I say the story of the Bible, I mean the story that the Bible puts together. All of the little stories build together to make one big picture of how God is stepping in and saving humanity. Sometimes the big picture can get lost in all the details, so I love the way this story puts it all together for us in a really easy format. This book is called The Garden, The Curtain, and The Cross. I'm Tom Gearing, and this is Tom's Family Worship. A very long time ago, right here in this world, there was a garden. In the garden, everything was wonderful. The world was full of laughing and playing and smiling and fun. There was nothing bad, ever. There was no one sad, ever. And best of all, God was there. He made it all. He was in charge of it all. He loved it all. People could see God and speak to God and just enjoy being with God. Hello, Adam. Hello, Eve, God says. Eve, God is here. He wants to walk with us again. How cool is that? Yay, Eve says. I bet it's going to be even more amazing than yesterday. It was wonderful to live with God. But then, one day, the people did a terrible thing. They decided they didn't want to do what God said. They decided they wanted a world without God in charge. God calls this sin. Sin spoils things, so sin has no place in God's wonderful garden. God said to the people, "You can't live with me in my garden anymore," and He sent them outside. To show the people they had to stay outside, God put some warrior angels in front of the garden. The angels were like a big keep out sign. Now things were sometimes bad, and people were sometimes sad. But people still kept on sinning because they didn't want God to be in charge. So no one would come into God's wonderful place. God said, "Because of your sin, you can't come in." God wanted people to remember that it is wonderful to live with Him. But because of your sin, you can't come in. So He told the people to build a special building. He called it His temple, where He would live. In the middle of the temple was the most wonderful place in the world, the place where God was, with nothing bad and nothing sad. It was very exciting. But then God told people to put a big curtain around this wonderful place. The curtain had pictures of warrior angels on it. It was like a big keep out sign. For hundreds of years, the temple curtain reminded people that God said, "It is wonderful to live with Him, but because of your sin, you can't come in." Babies became grown-ups and had babies. And those babies became grown-ups and had babies. And those babies became grown-ups and they had babies. Hundreds of summers and winters passed by, and the keep-out curtain stayed in the temple. Then one day, God the Son came to live in this world as a person. He was called Jesus. Jesus always did what God said. Jesus never sinned. And Jesus visited the temple where the keep-out curtain hung. Jesus knew that things were sometimes bad and sometimes sad. Jesus said that God had sent Him to open the way back to God's wonderful place, where there would be nothing bad and nothing sad. But people still did not want to let God be in charge. So they decided to put Jesus on a cross to die. It was the most bad thing that had ever happened. It was the most sad day of all time. But Jesus had a plan. He had always planned to die on the cross. What a strange plan. Why would God's Son plan to die? On the cross, Jesus took our sin. All the bad things we do, all the sad things they cause, Jesus took them all from us. And when he did, something amazing, astonishing, astounding happened. The curtain tore. God had ripped up that keep out sign. God's wonderful place is open again. Because Jesus died, we can come in. After Jesus died, his friends put him in a tomb. They were very sad. For 2 days, nothing happened. Then, the next morning, Jesus' friends went to see his body in the tomb, and he wasn't there. All they found was an angel with this message: "He's not here." A little later on, Jesus' friends were all together, and suddenly Jesus was there, alive. Suddenly his friends weren't sad. Now they were so happy. God had brought Jesus back to life so that he could live in God's wonderful place forever. And Jesus has sent everyone an invitation to come and live with him there too. He tells us God says it is wonderful to live with him. Because of your sin you can't come in, but I died on the cross to take your sin. So all my friends can come in. We can live with God forever. There will be nothing bad and no one sad. We will see God and speak to him and just enjoy being with him, just as he planned. It will be wonderful to live with him, and it's all because of Jesus. We will say every day, "Thank you, King Jesus, you are amazing." And you know what? You can start saying that today. You can find these stories in the Bible in Genesis chapter 1, Mark chapter 15 and 16, and Revelation chapter 21 and 22. Jesus promises that his friends will enjoy life ever after. He says, "I will come back. Then I will take you to be with me so that you can be where I am. I am the way." He says that in John chapter 14. All we need to do to become friends with Jesus is to say sorry to him for our sin and thank you to him for dying on the cross to take our sin. And then we can ask him to please help us to live with him as he is our King. Father in heaven, thank you so much for providing a way for us to live with you forever in eternity. King Jesus, thank you for coming and dying to take away our sin, for ripping up the keep out sign and inviting us to come in and be with you. Come into our hearts today. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Amen. Thank you for worshiping with me today here on Tom's Family Worship. I hope you enjoyed this story, this summary of the Bible, and I hope it made it a little bit more clear what Jesus was doing here and what his mission is. As you pray together in your family today, I invite you to say thank you to Jesus for what he has done. Thanks again for joining me here. I am Tom Gearing, and this is Tom's Family Worship. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.